Greetings, cyber squids and citizens of the interwebs. This is ReNDoG coming at you in another episode of Modded Minecraft from the Hermit Squid server. As you guys can see, I'm currently dealing with a pretty serious infestation of squidage in my base right now. Logged onto the server super early this morning, only to discover that my beautiful desert village has been covered in squid juice. Now, there's only one hermit on this server who could be responsible for such a dastardly deed, spawning squids on the baking desert sand to be dehydrated underneath the sun. Iskal85, of course, our Swedish brother from a Swedish frickin' mama. Thank you, Iskal, for the infinite supply of squid juice. I appreciate it, I think. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with all of this, but I suppose, yeah, you've taken my love for calamari to the next freaking level. Let's try and figure out what's going on over here, guys. I'm assuming Iskal has installed some sort of a spawning mechanism for these squids. Let's have a look. This is some sort of a machine called a spawn. I suppose this is a spawner or something? This is kind of cool. It needs an octadic capacitor and 800 RFs per tick. Hang on. Is this thing leeching power from our bacon array? Let's have a look here. No, doesn't look like it. But what is this thing? Ooh, this looks kind of interesting. Send, receive buffer, local buffer. Oh my goodness, hang on. Is this some sort of a transmitter of power? Is this power from Iskal's factory? Oh, Iskal, you done dirt, my friend. Oh, baby. The ReNDoG base is going to be slurping some power from Iskal's capacitors using this thing, I think. That is absolutely awesome. I assume there's another spawner down here, right? Yep, that is fantastic. Okay, so we've got infinite squid juice and we've got some power to sap from Iskal's factory. That's kind of awesome, actually. You know what? Let's figure out a way to collect all of this squid juice. I think I've got a couple of vacuum chests over here. Yep, there we go. Let's put these vacuum chests down here. These are going to suck up all of the ink sacs, hopefully. Very, very nice. Now we can collect for ourselves a bunch of ink sacs, which I hope will become useful at some point. I have no idea. Let's just check on the range of this thing. Yeah, that should do just nicely. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Iskal, for the infinite squid juice, and more importantly, for the infinite power. I didn't actually realize that squids made an absolutely disgusting noise, man. These things are squidging all over the place. Absolutely revolting. Anyway, guys, I thought we'd kick off today's episode with a little bit of good news. I have finally managed to find a way to get our bacon power array to function perfectly, and I'm very pleased to announce this thing is now kicking off on all cylinders, man. There's a little bacon up there, a little piglet getting ready to be processed. He's going to fall onto that spike down there. We've got 3 pork chops in here, so let's see how many pork chops we gain from him. Look at that. We got 8 pork chops out of that little piglet. So my theory of wanting the pig to grow up and then cooking it when it was grown up is actually completely wrong. All you need to do is process the little piglets, which is exactly what I'm doing over here. So I've got the diamond spike directly underneath the conveyor belt. I've got a vacuum chest just next to that spike, and that vacuum chest is sending the pork chops into the chest below. So this thing is actually functioning beautifully right now, and it actually hurts my soul to think about how many hours I've spent trying to optimize this thing. And in Modded, it's always the simple solutions that are the best. They always seem to work out that way, man. But yeah, this is our bacon power array. It's generating an insane amount of power for us, and our power problems are pretty much sorted, which makes me extremely happy. This means we can move on to the next most important thing for this series, and that is getting some storage set up. Today we are going to be working on some serious storage action, and we are going to be using something from Refined Storage, or we're going to be using all of the machines from Refined Storage to set up a storage system that we have at the middle of the Base Buddies base, but it's going to be right here in the Cyber Labs. Now guys, last night I spent way too much time chiseling and bitsing here on the HermitPack server. I was watching the US elections until about 4 o'clock in the morning, and take a look at what I managed to do. Doesn't this place look absolutely gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I don't really know what's going on here with the style. It is kind of what I was thinking in the beginning when I first started working on this. It's turned out into I don't know how to describe it. It reminds me of like the architecture from the American 1920s. This is the kind of laboratory that the Great Gatsby would have, right? It looks really, really cool, man. I absolutely love it. So I've done a ridiculous amount of chiseling over here, and thanks to you guys and the comment section of the previous episode, I've gone from chisel noob to chisel freaking pro. I want to show you guys a few of the tricks that I've learned over the last day or so here with the chisel and bits mod, and then we're going to be working on our storage facility, which is going to be absolutely amazing. Check it out. I've got a chest here filled with all of the stuff that we are going to need to create a storage system from Refined Storage. And that is going to be fantastic. But before we get to that, guys, let's do a little bit of chiseling and bitsing, because what I was doing in the previous episode was pretty much an embarrassment. I mean, it was noob level of epic proportions, but I've taken this to the next level, man. Look at this. I've created a whole bunch of different levels. We've got a beautiful skirting over here, which has got lots and lots of layers to it. I've made this beautiful grid. Underneath this grid is all of the cabling. And what I'd like to do is have this cabling running through all of the passageways in the Cyber Labs, and it's going to be connecting up to all of the different rooms for power, for item transport, for any other pipe stuff that we need. It's going to be running underneath these grids. Doesn't that look fantastic? Oh, I love it so much. Now, there are very clever ways to do what you can see before you right now. I'm going to show you guys some of the tricks of the trade. A lot of you guys told me about flat color blocks. That's the first thing that we're going to talk about, and that's what I've used to get this beautiful blue color over here. Take a look at this thing. This thing is called a colored block crafter, and this thing is actually really, really easy to make. Check it out. All you need is a bit of iron and red, green, cyan, and purple dye, and that gives you this colored block crafter. Now, when we crank this sucker open, this is where it gets really, really interesting, okay? If we mouse over this, it says craft blocks with glass and dyes, put materials in your inventory and use this. So check this out, right? We're going to be using cobblestone as our base block, and if we go into our second inventory and we start putting some colors into our inventory, what you will see is we start getting different colored blocks like this, right? Fan-freaking-tastic. Let's get some lapis in here too, and what that is going to do is going to open up the color palette even more. So now we have access to all of these different colored blocks. The really cool thing about these blocks is they are very flat color. They're not like completely one monotonous color. They are sort of variated a little bit. You can see this is a sort of gray one, and that's what makes it so freaking beautiful, man. Now check it out. If we want to make this beautiful block over here, what we need to do is look for the number for the chisel bit. So we can see this is chisel bit as your block 745. I think it's this one over here. There we go. So we're going to make one of these bad boys like this, right? So now we've made this beautiful as your block. We'll place it down like this, and now we can harvest this bad boy using our chisel. So we're just going to harvest all of these bits, boom, and all of those bits have landed in one of these chisel bags over here. So now we have a whole bunch of these beautiful as your block chisel bits things, which are absolutely amazing. Now, the next part of this is going to blow your freaking minds. You guys think that ReNDoG chiseled all of this out of nothing, spent the entire night chiseling away block by block? Well, guess what, man? You guys will be absolutely wrong. Take a look at this. A positive chisel design. This thing is so freaking sweet. Let me show you guys exactly how to make this thing. All you need is a bucket of water, a bit of paper, and some lapis lazuli, and that gives you a positive chisel design. Now, what can we do with this bad boy? Well, feast your eyes on this. We're going to make a copy, basically, of any block, and then as long as we have those bits in our inventory or in our chisel bags, we'll be able to replicate those blocks. So I'm going to make a copy of this wall over here, beautiful, and what we can do now is build this entire wall on this side of this room that we're making over here, right? So let's just get rid of these blocks like this. Now, a little bit of a trick that I wanted to share with you guys. If we were to, for example, turn this block into the wall by right-clicking, boom, what we've done is we basically we've chiseled away this entire block, collected all the excess blocks, and then built this wall out of the blocks in our chisel bag, right? Now, unfortunately, what happens if you do this a lot, you start to fill up your chisel bag, and then that happens. because there's a whole bunch of excess white pixels over here, right? So to avoid that happening, here's a nice little trick. What we're trying to do here is literally just replace the blocks within this block space. So if we draw like a nice little line here of just normal chisel bits like this, just bits like so, we can then change those bits into the wall without creating this horrible disaster area that we've got going on over here. So we do this all the way around this building, and that is going to create for us the beautiful wall design that we've done there for that room over there, right? Absolutely awesome. How easy is this? It takes a long time to get everything set up and to get your templates and stuff made, but once those templates are produced, it is fantastic. Now take a look at this. So we're going to copy this block over here. Boom. This is the skirting block that we're going to be sticking in here, and all we have to do now is right click and replace all of those blocks, and that is going to create for us this beautiful skirting like this. Gorgeous, right? Exactly the same thing's going to happen for the windows over here. So we're going to take another blank positive chisel design, copy this thing, and what we can do now is just add another thin layer of bits all the way along like this. Hang on, if we can. There we go. Beautiful. And now we can just replace those with the glass. So once you've got your templates in place, you can really go crazy and you can just build all of these things. The same thing can be done for this grid design. And the way that you clear this, by the way, is just putting it in your inventory like this, and you can get a blank one again. So you don't have to keep on making these things. But check it out, right? We can make copies of all of these different blocks like this to easily replicate all of the chiseled goodness that we've got going on around this beautiful base. Absolutely fantastic, right? Check it out. We can even do this corner over here. We just need to get a little pixel in there like that, and a boom, corner has been done. Isn't that awesome? Are you fun peoples of the interbubs picking up what I'm putting down over here? Oh man, this place is looking freaking awesome. Give me 1 second. That is a tasty beverage, and this is a tasty laboratory, man. Check it out. Absolutely love what is going on over here. Iskal just popped his head in to take a look. He told me the place looks a little bit like a hospital. And in normal circumstances, that would probably be an insult. But in this case, guys, I was super happy to hear that, because I'm trying to do exactly that. I'm trying to create a really sterile, really clean looking laboratory where we're going to be doing evil experiments and whatnot. The place has to be absolutely immaculate, man. And I think it's turning out real awesome. Now, one of the problems that I'm currently having with this build are these things. Torch eyes. So freaking ugly, man. We need to find a way to get lighting into this place that isn't a torch on the ground. And for the next part of this episode, I thought we could experiment a little bit with light chisel blocks, or lighted chisel and bits blocks. Check it out, man. We can actually make colored chisel blocks that will glow and that will act as light sources, and it's actually really simple to do. So I showed you guys a little bit earlier that we can use cobblestone as our main block for the chisel and bits mod, but check this out, man. Let's get this cobblestone out of the inventory. I've got a bit of glowstone in my inventory right now and a little bit of yellow dye. Let's make a little bit more of that, actually. A little bit of bone meal here also, and what we can do if we open up our color palette, we can create some glowing blocks. Check this out, guys. We can actually make transparent light blocks, which is pretty sweet, but we can also make glowing yellow blocks. Now, I want to choose a yellow over here that feels a little bit like a fluorescent light or something like that. Why don't we go for this yellow? Let's try a couple of them, actually. That yellow might be a little bit too bright. Maybe we go for this one also. Let's stick these down next to each other and take a look at what they look like. That one is very yellow, but that might work out quite nicely. That one's a little bit better, isn't it? I think it's a little bit better. I don't know, man, but check it out. Here's what I'm thinking, right? We can create a few of these. I think let's go with the bright yellow one for now, and we can always change it a little bit later. So let's just make a few of these. Let's make like 6 of those. There we go. That's all the glowstone that we've got. Now check this out, right? I want to try and make some sort of corridor luminescent light system thingies over here, right? I wanted to make it feel like it's a luminescent light. So if we lay down some of these glowing blocks like this, that's going to be our light source sorted out. That's going to be providing more than enough light for this passageway. But that's looking a little bit janktastic at the moment, isn't it? What I thought we could do is maybe throw some glass over that. So check it out, man. Let's get our chisel out. Get some nice looking glass going. We'll get this beautiful glass over here. This really, really nice glass that I like a lot. And maybe what we could do is if we put one like that, get our chisel out and maybe just chisel away maybe like all of the pixels. Except one, so like one thick high glass, something like that. That looks kind of cool, I suppose. But I suppose we could probably do a little bit better than that. What happens if we just do 2 pixels? So we'll do this one. Let's get rid of all of this jazz like this. Boom. Let's take a look at that. Now that's starting to look a little bit better, isn't it? All right, let's try that. We'll make a clone of that block like a so. Let's make a copy of this. And then let's just lay down a line of bits all the way along our glowing thing like this, and then we can start replacing these like that. That looks kind of sweet, doesn't it? I kind of like it. I don't know, I think I'm probably going to have to experiment a little bit more with this. Maybe there is a better type of glass that we could use. Maybe that yellow isn't quite right either. And maybe what we should also do is chisel away a little bit of space around the light. Actually, that might bring it out quite nicely. What happens if we did something like this, right? If we just took 2 pixels away from either side of this little lamp thing, that could work out real good. Let's try a little bit of that action. Yeah, that potentially works out a little bit better, doesn't it? I'm probably going to have to work a little bit on this off camera. That's the thing about Chisel and Bits though, guys. Honestly, this is where the hours go. Just doing hours upon hours of experimenting, getting rid of pixels out of blocks to try and find the best configurations. But this is probably one of my favorite mods that I've found in a very, very long time. I'm absolutely in love with it, man. Check it out. That's actually turning out pretty cool. I don't like the yellow though. I think we're probably going to have to switch up the yellow at some point. But that's my thinking for the lighting, right? We'll have this running all the way through all of the corridors, and hopefully that will deal with the light situation in here. And we can get rid of all of these torches eventually too, which will be amazing. Hello group, my name is ReNDoG, and I am addicted to Chisel and Bits. I'm getting carried away over here, guys. I'm supposed to be making a modded episode for you, but man, I'm just getting sucked into some more design work with Chisel and Bits. Take a look at this. Decided to make the lights of our laboratory into single blocks. Look at this, man. If you look in there, they actually do glow. Isn't that awesome? And check it out, I'm connecting them via this sort of blue line on the roof, which I think looks really, really cool. I kind of want to just carry on doing this all the way through the laboratory, guys, but we have to move on. We have to move on right now, because today we are tackling one of the most serious issues that we have in this series right now, and that is, of course, storage. We have got junk all over this town, chests full of rubbish everywhere. Take a look at these, man. These are all jam-packed with resources and stuff, and it is driving me crazy. I've got an inventory full of stuff. I've got 3 sacks full of stuff. I've got a secondary inventory full of stuff. It's just getting out of hand right now, guys, and we need to start taking action. We need to start thinking about a proper storage system. And at the center of the Base Buddies Desert, as you guys have seen in the previous episode, there is a storage system, and that is what we're going to be creating right here in the Cyber Labs. Let me just get a sip of this beverage, because it is crafting time, man. Hope your brains are ready for this. All right, there we go. Last of the tea delivered directly to the brain. ReNDoG ready for some crafting, baby. Today, my friends, we're going to be making an amazing storage system from the Refined Storage mod, and it is going to be fantastic. It's going to be the answer to all of our woes. Of course, to make these things is going to require a ridiculous amount of resource, which I've gathered here in the chest. And as you guys can see, just from this grid recipe, there's a whole bunch of really weird things that we need to make. As always in Modded, you need something to make something else, and that is where we're going to be starting today. What we need to first make over here is a solderer, and this solderer is going to be making a whole bunch of other stuff for us for this particular task. So first things first, we're going to create for ourselves a solderer, and I should have everything in this chest. Let's hope so. Yes, we have everything that we need over here, so that's fantastic. We're going to make 2 of these bad boys. Now for this task, we're going to need some power, aren't we? Well, I know exactly where to get some power from. Thanks, Iskal, for the infinite power source. This power block we got from Iskal's got such a sweet name, guys. Check it out. Dimensional Transceiver. That's absolutely sweet. Anyway, I'm going to plop it here in between our solderers to see if these things are actually going to start working. Looks like that's not what you need. You don't actually need power. Let's just have a look at the solderer again. Needs to be connected with a controller or by placing it adjacent to it or by connecting it with a cable. Okay, so as always in Modded, we need something to make something work. We need something called a controller. Forgot about that. I think this is a controller over here. There we go. So what we need for a controller, enriched quartz, iron, diamonds, a machine casing, and some silicone. Luckily, I've got all of that jazz in this chest over here. Oh man, except for this case. Well, that's easy enough to make. Tell you what, man, playing Modded is all about keeping organized. Look how easy this is when you've got everything ready. Oh man, ReNDoG, pro freaking Modded player right here, baby. All right, let's get the controller in there. Is that going to make this thing function? Only work with the redstone signal. What about ignore redstone signal? Maybe the controller needs some power. Maybe that's what we need to do over here. So let's reconfigure this a little bit over here, right? So let's put Squid Juice box down here. We'll stick the controller up here. There we go. It's zinging. That's awesome. Then let's install the solderer next to the controller. Is that going to make it work? Let's take a look. Hopefully this will make it work. We'll stick a piece of iron in here. Let's have a look. It's working! Sweet! Okay, so that's, wow, looking kind of scary, but we can now start making a whole bunch of printed basic processes and a whole bunch of other stuff so that we can actually create this grid thing. My goodness, so many steps to do, guys, but I'm going to take it a slowly step at a time, and I'm going to get all of this jazz made. I think all of this stuff we've got here we can make in the solderer. Yeah, it's pretty much just a matter of making all of these little things one piece at a time. Now that was some finicky soldering business, everybody, but check it out. Just made myself a construction core, a destruction core, and 2 improved processors, plus a machine casing, and now we can create for ourselves this grid. Absolutely amazing, baby. There we go. Grid. Let's get that sucker placed down here on the controller. Now check it out. This controller is actually really, really sweet. If we open up, you can see that it sort of shows you what's connected to it, I suppose, and this is the control center of this big computer that we're making, I guess, right? This, of course, is our power source that we are sucking from Iskal's base. Eventually, what we'll do is plug this into our own power source. But for now, I'm enjoying using a little bit of Iskal's factory power. Oh, baby, there we go. Check this out. Now we've got the display over here. If we right-click on this, we can see that this has given us a bunch of slots. I don't actually think we can put anything in here yet. Nope. So next step is for us to create some storage for our computer, right? So we've got the screen, we've got the power supply. Now we need a hard drive. If we think about this logically. So the next thing that we need to craft right now is something called a disk drive. And if we just search for disk drive, there it is. Have a look at this. What we need is an advanced processor, a machine casing, and an oak chest. An advanced processor is pretty simple, just more soldering stuff, but this time we need a printed advanced processor which is made out of a diamond. So a little bit more soldering for me to do, and then we can start plugging in some hard drives over here. Advanced processors created, and now we can start building a couple of disk drives. Man, this reminds me of when I built my own computer. It really does feel like I'm building a computer over here. It is so freaking awesome. I am absolutely loving this, man. So there we go. Solderer is going to be putting together for us these disk drives. Let's make another one in here too. Get both of these solderers going on at the same time. Very, very nice. So our disk drives are cooking. Now, in order for us to store information on these disk drives, I suppose these things are more like disk racks rather than hard drives themselves. What we're going to be doing is upgrading the memory of our disk drives with disks, with 4K storage disks. And this is exactly where we're going to be storing our items, onto these disks. Pretty cool, right? Check it out. The recipe for these 4K storage disks is pretty simple. We just need some glass, some redstone, and a 4K storage part. To make a 4K storage part, we need a whole bunch of basic processors and a 1K storage part. To make a 1K storage part, we need some silicone and some quartz-enriched iron and a whole bunch of stuff here. Very, very basic recipes, actually. You know, these things are not that expensive, just very finicky to make. I reckon that you could probably get this storage system set up pretty early game, actually. Way early game, actually. It's kind of cool to think about it. You don't need any like super advanced materials or anything like that. all you need to do is grind a whole bunch of quartz. You make silicone out of quartz, and you need a whole bunch of iron. You need to make quartz enriched iron. So actually all you need is a ton of iron and a ton of quartz and some glowstone and those other things that you can get in the early game. So pretty useful, I think. Have these disk drives cooked away? Yes, they have. Look at beautiful, man. Look at these things. They are so freaking awesome. All right, let's plug these disk drives in somewhere. I don't know exactly where we could put them. I guess we need to stick them in the back here, connected to the controller, I suppose. I don't know exactly how we're going to be configuring this, but I suppose we can just stick one disk drive at the back here for now, and I'll try and reconfigure it later. But here we go. You guys can see that we don't have anything in here right now. We don't have any disk drives, and that's what we need to make next. Can we actually add anything into it? No. So this disk drive has absolutely no space until we make these 4K storage drives. So let me get cracking on that, man. I've got a whole bunch more soldering to do. 8 shiny new 4K storage disks have just rolled off the production line, cyber dogs, and we are ready to get our storage system up and running. It's absolutely awesome, isn't it? So few blocks for so much power. That is the joy of modded, man. Check it out. I figured out too that we could connect our second disk drive to the first one. If we have a look at the controller over here, I think as long as the machines are touching each other, they will be recognized, or they will be looked after by the controller. So let's get into this disk drive. I think this is where we're going to stick our 4K storage. Yes, there we go. Look at that. Let's insert all of our USB sticks, and we now have 32,000 stuff. I don't know what this means, but it's 32,000 stuffs that we can store in here. Now, if I've done everything correctly, we've got some storage disks now to store stuff. We should be able to click here and drop off something in here. Yes! Oh, that's amazing! Oh, that is so sweet. I think we can store 32,000 items. Yes, that's what that means. So we can now store 32,000 items in this tiny little setup over here. It was a bit of a pain in the butt to make. Quite a few of my resources got chugged away. A bunch of pretty painful soldering needed to be done. But if you ask me, for such a compact little storage facility, this is just freaking amazing. And thanks, Escal, for the free power. Okay, so once again, I've gotten a little bit carried away with the chiseling and the bitsing. Just lost another half an hour of this recording, but take a look at how beautiful this little room is turning out. I've shifted across our storage machine into this room. I don't know if this is where I'll keep it, but for now, I love it, man. Look at this thing. I've compacted it into basically a little like server, I suppose, and this is our new storage facility. I cannot wait to drop off everything in my inventory into this place. Oh, it is going to be glorious. In the next episode, I'm going to try find a clever way for us to empty out our chests and shove them into our 4K storage disks over here. But I've got my solder over here. We've got the infinite Iscal power juice thingy over here, our controller, 2 disk drives at the back, and our solder in case we need it again. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I am just so very proud and happy with how this has turned out. I had so much fun putting this episode together for you guys, and yeah, I hope you like it. I hope you like what you see. The place is looking absolutely jazzy, isn't it? Man, so freaking inspired to play Modded these days. I really, really love what's going on here. Anyway, guys, that is the end of today's episode. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, hit me with that like button, something fierce. In fact, hit me with that like button for putting so much grind in to make this thing beautiful, okay? Let me know that all of the hours that I'm spending are well worth it, please, guys, or else I'm just wasting my life away on chisel and bits. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Cannot wait to see you in the next episode. ReNDoG, signing out!